I believe that the fires we're cast upon are the flames we shall become. I believe in a common calling where our temples pray as one. I believe in the word of wonder and a kingdom for the saved.
Larry Pollock, Luke Carroll, and Leo Mayrhofer, and special guest Lesley Timbol here today. Today we're going to be going over the Italy Pro coming up this weekend with some predictions, and then we're going to be talking with Lesley, who's a psychologist, a sports psychologist, actually, about championship mindset, basically the mindset of competitors when it comes to competing, winning, losing, and there's a lot of been going on with that in the recent news with controversy in judging and with the Masters Olympia, and then there was the thing with Nick Walker and Derek Lunsford, and there's just a lot going on. So we have a lot to talk about, but we're going to kick it off with the Italy Pro predictions, and it's a stacked lineup. I know we've got Quinton Beastwood is coming in after just taking second in, Tampa? And he took third in Texas. Then we've got Miracle Bear coming in. Klesinski, he's making his Open Pro debut, coming from Classic to Open. We've got, I can't think of the other name, the guy that's making his pro debut, Sean something.
Stefan.
Oh,
yes.
Stefan's coming from Classic, making his Open Pro debut.
Is there a list, competitor list?
So I tried to pulled up the website and with the competition, and it's all in Italian. So I don't know. I can't read it. So there probably is a list. There probably is a list, but I don't know what I'm reading.
Sometimes I can read a little Italian. I speak a tiny bit, but I don't think it will help. But we also got Sergio Oliva Junior.
Oh, right.
Yep.
And I think that will be also a good topic for Lesley with, having his dad and the pressure in that. And then we have Emir Omeragic, who usually comes pretty shredded. But I think the talent is just too much for him right now. Do you want to go through every competitor by themselves, or?
Let's just go through the top. What we think are going to be the top five, probably. We don't. I think Larry didn't want to go on it too long. Just a few minutes, so we can get onto the topic with Lesley a little bit deeper.
Okay, I say that Urs is going to win.
Obviously. I think it's going to be a shootout between Urs and Stefan. I don't know. I think Quinton, if he's continuing to advance from where he was at in Texas, Tampa, then I think that he could be a real problem. But he's got to travel from United States over there. I know that Stefan and I probably Urs are already over there, aren't they? Or they?
Yeah, of course.
They live over there. So I mean, it's like traveling within. So is the the flight across the Atlantic gonna mess with Quinton? And then Sergio, I didn't know he was competing. That's kind of a wild card in there. He definitely brings the size, and then I think that he could be in the mix. I mean, that's pretty much going to be the top five. I think Urs, Stefan, Sergio, Quinton, and the German guy. What's his name? Emir.
You don't think Tim Budesheim could get in there?
I don't know who that is.
They used to call him Budesheim.
Yeah.
Oh.
He's big and shredded.
He's enormous, but I think with this, lineup, it's going to be a more structural lineup. I mean, it's going to be.
He looks way bigger than last year, even.
He was already huge.
Yeah.
And he didn't do bad. I mean, I think a couple of years ago, he was doing like Tampa and stuff, and he was in the mix for sure in that top 5, 6 range. So, but if the guys in the structural guys blow their conditioning, then he has a chance to outweigh them. But I think that with just his structure, it's going to be hard to beat guys like Quinton, Urs, and Stefan. I think those are going to be the top 3.
I think he can beat them all. The problem is that
Do you have any recent update pictures?
He got told last year by everyone that he's shredded and ready. And I was right next to him at Gold's Gym, and he was not shredded and ready.
Oh, he had a lot of yes men.
And everyone's like, yeah, the best conditioning. You're the best conditioned. And I'm like, no, you're not. I didn't tell him, but I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And he used to come in, like when he was an amateur and when he turned pro, he was like Hadi Chupan, like
peeled. Yeah.
Munzer-esque shredded. And now that he's way bigger, even if he gets that shredded, he will still be huge. He has to.
Yeah.
And he can come as shredded as Emir when he gets like, and if he comes like that, he could actually win.
Okay.
But I'm afraid that the coach will be like, no, you got to be full and you got to keep the GH in.
Who's his, do you know his coaches?
Yeah. Actually a cool guy, but I don't like his fullness always. Yeah. He's like, dude, the guy's bigger than everyone. Like, fuck the fullness.
Yeah. Yeah. He's already going to be bigger. I mean, there's a fine line. Definitely, if you're flat, you're not going to look with that pop. You know, like, is he kind of like a JP-esque, like sort of, you think?
No, he doesn't even need many calories.
Really?
He eats like 2,300 calories. And he's like 20-something kilos, which is that 270 pounds or so.
Yeah.
Do you have any recent update pictures of him on Instagram?
I don't think he posts anything. But his face might be good.
He's got the death face.
Yeah, it's looking good.
Well, that's exciting. I love when there's like a lot of good guys coming into the mix. I mean, we just said I think 5, 6 guys that are
okay. This is the latest. It's not much. This is the latest that it's kind of, but that's already 2-3 weeks ago.
You put it up. Here it comes.
You see it?
Oh yeah, he's a big boy.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see.
His face does look peeled.
He looks massive.
This is 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, his face looks shredded.
This is old. This is here's like 21.
Yeah. He needs to post more.
Yeah, so
he's not showing much.
Yeah, here you see a little bit. But this is also like 2nd of August. This is like 4 weeks ago.
4 weeks ago.
The legs look big and shredded. I mean, I don't know why he doesn't show like
if he gets really peeled, it's gonna be I wish he had an old picture where he was shredded like he used to be. Let me check something. San Marino Pro Tim Budesheim. That's when he turned pro with like 220 pounds or so. Is that it?
I mean, if I'm honest, I don't know if he really has the structure to beat Urs. I mean, because Urs is really complete. He comes in peeled. He's got great presentation. I don't think he has the tools to beat Urs. Even though he's going to be 20 pounds bigger, I think Urs has better structurally.
Yeah, but here that's like he's just 220 pounds here, 2017. But this is how shredded he got, and you could see everything from his lats, and he has a weak back, but his back got way better. If he gets that shredded,
that was a long time ago. That will
look so much better. Yeah, it's 8 years ago. Yeah, he needs to come that shredded. But we'll see. We'll see. I hope he will.
Well, if Quinton can actually pull off the conditioning, which he wasn't quite there, but if he gets like peeled, I think he's probably the favorite. Just because he's got that aesthetic look.
I'm excited to see Stefan because he came over from Classic as well, but he was too big for Classic. But he's just got such full like craziness. I mean, I hope that he just comes in shredded enough. I think with him that might be an issue coming in.
We just saw a recent update from him, and he was 254 pounds supposedly, and peeled out of his mind, like crazy peeled.
I mean, I saw his chest look pretty peeled, but I didn't necessarily see his hams, his glutes, his back. I mean, his chest looked really peeled in those pictures. He looked like separated, but he didn't look peeled. He doesn't have a whole lot of width either in his lats. I think that's
Larry, please confirm that. So I'm sharing some.
Yeah, it's on there. I don't know. Look at his legs.
Yeah, well, no, his legs don't have any cross striations though. Like he's separated.
No, he doesn't have that.
Yeah,
but I mean,
they can't have cross striations when you flex him like that.
He's shrink wrapped though.
He's pretty lean. I agree.
The only thing that could have cross striations when you flex it like that is the teardrop.
Teardrop.
That's true, but
does he have any back shots?
You see a little bit. See?
Yeah, he's pretty. I agree. I was wrong. He's pretty peeled.
Look at how small his waist is compared to the rest of him. I mean,
he's just got such crazy, like everything's so crazy. It's just his back width is probably his only.
Yeah, it's not that wide. Yeah.
From the
front. He never posts back shots. So probably because his back will probably. Yeah, he only posts.
There's a back shot.
I think his back will be probably too weak, but we'll see.
But I don't know. It might carry him because he's got like the craziest like arms, full triceps, huge quads. You know, everything's like really crazy on him. He just doesn't quite have that width on his lats, but like, you know, maybe it's enough width to carry him. So
it's an interesting show because everyone has a back weakness besides Emir.
Okay.
Right?
No one is like big back.
Urs, rather his weakness.
That's his only,
Stefan, rather his weakness. Quinton actually has a better back than the lower body, I think, from the back. But it's also
decent, but it wasn't shredded at Tampa or Texas.
He doesn't have much thickness in his lats. Yeah.
Yeah, and then who else?
He has decent upper back though. His like traps were okay.
Tim also was always his weakness. So that's going to be interesting.
Where do you think Sergio is going to land in that lineup?
Sergio was also always his. I think so. I hear Sergio does crazy training, super long and super much. So I just hope he can be full.
Getting the volume.
He was on the Dorian style training for a while there.
Not at all. I think he hated it. He trains very long and very hard, like crazy. Friend of mine.
You want to pull up his updates? Because I heard he's bigger than ever.
He's good friends with him. I don't think he's that heavy, actually.
I've been hearing
he's
that
like, I think
bigger than he's been in the past.
Lighter, but you know, if he's more shredded, then I'm sharing now. See it?
Yeah, here it is. No, it's up.
I mean, this is obviously like filtered.
He's big. The only thing that hurts Sergio a little bit, I think,
because this looks really good.
So much muscle.
It's crazy how full he looks.
Yeah,
chest and everything looks really good.
How many weeks ago is that? How old is
this? 1 day ago.
Okay, he looks good.
I would pose this different. I would pose it more upright and don't create this gap.
Does it posing more like this? It kind of separates your adductors so they don't touch, huh?
The problem I have with Sergio is for some reason his updates always look wild, and it doesn't translate to the stage. He always comes into the stage flat or watery or something off. He just somehow, he looks crazy right before the show.
I mean, maybe Lesley can jump in on the mental side on that, because I think that might be his. I think he might really be looking crazy online, and then I think he might get in his head at the.
Yeah, he always looks like right before the show. He looks wild. Like he's gonna win everything. Like that's a great shot, but then he doesn't look like that on stage. He always comes in off.
Yeah,
he doesn't always come in
years
off.
ago. Years ago he came in on, but not lately.
Yeah, when he won New York. I mean, it's probably easy to do like a crazy shot. You're with yourself all day. You got your photographer. You're eating a bunch of food, and then you're like, man, you're getting a pump, and then you're like, let's take some shots. So it's easy to like, you're with yourself all day long, but then when it comes to the stage, it's like you got to nail that exact second, and maybe that's a hard second for him to nail.
Yeah, he's either flat or watery, one or the other.
Yeah,
at least since in the last several shows he's done.
I heard that he's trying to get a pump like in the gym before he goes on stage, and when he can do that, then he looks good.
Yeah,
and when he doesn't have the surrounding that he can get a good pump, where the timing is off, maybe, then that's a problem for him.
He's definitely like self-aware, because I used to own the Iron Rebel, and Sergio was one of the athletes. And whenever we would do like a photo shoot with him, he would always show up like an hour early and be like getting like a nasty arm pump, getting all this pump in. And then, he just wanted to look like super full. And so, yeah, he's definitely like self-aware on like his timing on like doing that. Like he wouldn't let us take photos until he was like ready to do shots. But I mean, sometimes it kind of like, it was hard to translate, because like he wanted to look so like shredded and jacked and full. But in photos, I just want you to look like comfortable. Like in photos of clothing, I just want you to look like good. And then like he was trying to like really look jacked, and I was like, you look more jacked if you're just like the casual photo just looks so much more like translatable into an ad. But like going back to the stage, like maybe it's hard for him to hit, with anxiety, with cortisol, with water manipulation, stuff like that. Maybe it's hard for him to hit the exact moment that the pose is good. And then like if your blood sugar drops and you get sweaty and watery, then you just blew that whole thing.
Do you know who he's working with?
I think he's with Stefan, Boss of Outlaw, I think.
Because
I just hope that
Aceto couldn't nail him, get him in right at the last few shows until he left Aceto.
Yeah, I don't know why he left Aceto. I think maybe I don't know. Maybe he didn't want to do what he like. They had a misunderstanding on,
I think at the Cal, when he competed in the Cal, was it last year? At the Cal, he just was like a water buffalo, and whatever him and Aceto did, either he didn't listen or it didn't work.
I think Aceto likes to use a lot of diuretics. So I think with if you don't nail it right or you over diuretic, someone looks skinny flat. They look way off if you miss the peak on diuretics correctly. So.
I think Aceto is very individual with the diuretics, but I think that it's weird because I watched the Cal last year. I was there, and I thought he looked better than this year. And
what was his last show? Did he do like something early in the year? Wasn't it?
He just did one
Chicago or something.
Months ago.
He did the FIBO show.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
And he just looked flat.
Yeah, I was there in person, and he still holds a grudge against me because I thought he didn't nail it there, and I liked. And it's not because he looked terrible, but I think the Czech guy there, who was in fifth, he looked tremendous. And my good friend Justin Muziol, also, I felt they were better than him on that day. and he hates me for it now. And like, it's so funny because I wish everyone the best. If I knew something that could help Sergio, I would tell him right away. I would be like, how can I help you? Like, if you know, and
that's the hard thing.
And also like, just because I like say I saw it that way, I still know that Sergio and I, like, in comparison, like, he does a different sport than me. He's like 3 times my size. You know, like a lot of people take everything so personal, or that if I say something that means like I'm better or something, like, not at all. Like, I try really, like, you can ask anyone. I always try to help people. And
you're trying to say everything in constructive.
I think it's sad that he I don't know, he took it the wrong way, or I don't know. I did.
Well, this is a good transition to get into what the mental aspect that we're talking about, because this is exactly what we're getting into, is that bodybuilders get in their head, and we're seeing more and more of this. At least I am. I guess it's always been there, but you know, and just the way people react to winning and losing. You know, some people they accept it, they roll with it, and you know, they make the best out of it. And other people, they're ready to quit or go kill themselves or something. And
I'll never compete again. How many times have we heard that one?
Well, I've said that myself, but it wasn't because I lost or something. I've said it just because, you know, I'm half starving and dehydrated to death, and I don't want to feel like that again. But not because, you know, I've competed myself, and I've had competitions where I felt like I should have won, but didn't, and I was pissed off for a minute, but it wasn't like I'm not carrying on with it for weeks and weeks, and you know, oh God, the IFBB, and I want to kill people and all this stuff.
One quick thing I want to say, talking about what Leo was saying, it's kind of tough for us to do podcasts and do predictions because because we're friends with all these guys, and Leo does a lot of these guys on the podcast, and then they might take it offensively if we say, this guy was better on that day and whatever. So it's kind of difficult for me and Leo to maybe be as like genuine. I try to kind of always just say it how it is, and if they don't like me for it, it's
not just that, Luke. When I went to the Pittsburgh show, I mean, I was seating sort of to the side, so I had like a different viewpoint than right from straight on. But from what I was looking at, I thought Derek won. Mm-hmm. And when I said it, oh my God, I got so much hate from all the freaking people. The whole comments were blowing up like, you don't know what the fuck you're looking at, this and that. I mean, it was really bad.
Larry watching from home on their phone don't know what.
Did you watch Classic too? Did you see me too?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't even realize you saw me because I competed in Pittsburgh. You know what's?
No, I was
just thinking about that.
Remember?
Because in Pittsburgh, Dennis James was like, "Oh, you look so much better than I thought," and I looked at it, and I'm like, "Yeah, could have been better," you know. And so I'm like, I get better feedback than I see myself, and all the bodybuilders are the other way around. They're like, "Oh, you say I don't look good. I hate you now." And I'm like, "Yeah, I wasn't that good, actually."
You know what? Kind of maybe Lesley can weigh in on this, because what you just said, when I competed, you know, in the past, I've had a lot of ups and downs in my career. I got in a motorcycle accident, and I thought I might never bodybuild again, and I took six months off, and I kind of regained. And every time that I like go through one of those phases where I come back down in size, lose 20, 30, 40 pounds. And I look at my old photos and I'm like, man, I was like enormous. Like, holy shit, I was shredded. I'm like looking, but then in that day, I'm like, nah, I'm not good. I can do better. Like I'm just like, I'm just so like hard on myself in the moment. But then when I look at my photos 5 years later, 2 years later, I'm like, whoa, like I looked wild. So
you know what's terrible? I like the gym here. Amazing, right? Better than Gold's Gym from the equipment. But oh my God, I can't find any good lighting, and the mirrors are like convex and concave.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't, I don't want to practice posing because I'm like, I look terrible here. Everywhere I look terrible. Like I
Which
have to
gym are
wait
you
till
going
I'm
to?
more shredded and more shredded. I have to wait till I'm almost ready to start posing because I'm like, I can't look at myself.
Which gym are you at right now over there?
Fit Club, the original one.
Oh, Fit Club.
But I'm going to gym hop. I'm going to go to more gyms.
Yeah, some gyms are better. Hop in here, Lesley. Let's hear some thoughts from you.
Sure. So as far as getting in their head, it's not just bodybuilders. I think a lot of people, whether they're athletes or non-athletes, get in their head. And a lot of it, what it comes down to is the level of confidence they have. When I work with athletes, I tell them there's two types of confidence. There's the confidence of I'm winning, I'm getting placed in the center or whatever. Obviously, you're going to feel happier. Get booted to the side, guess what? Confidence goes down.
Oh yeah.
So what we do, basically our confidence ebbs and flows depending on how we're performing in that moment. That's actually fragile confidence. People feel really, truly elite athletes learn what we call stable confidence, which means it doesn't matter where you are, how you're doing, you are performing like you are winning. And this happens even afterwards. It's trying to learn, because I don't know if any coaches teach this, but how do you cope with loss? They talk about what you should eat or try not to eat after the show, or not go at least too crazy.
Yeah.
But do they talk about the mental aspect? That's really missing in bodybuilding, especially. They talk about it's important to talk, we should talk about the mental aspect. Of who really talks about the mental aspect? So I'm going to start talking about it.
Yeah.
So as an example, when people say, well, how do I develop this stable confidence? It's literally learning how to pivot your mind. So I'll give you an example. Everyone's lost. At some point in your time, you have lost at some point. If we can refrain see, here's the thing. Our identity, how we feel about ourselves, our confidence, our self-esteem is often tied to how we're performing. Okay, I didn't do well on that show. I'm a shitty athlete. You're not, but I'm just saying that's the conclusion we come to. And social media is actually making things worse as far as bringing everything to people's surface of their mind because they're doing the comparison thing. When we think about a loss, it's learning how do we call us reframe it. What that means is seeing it in a different way. It's still a loss, but the perspective is very different. So we're shifting the outcome from, let's say, I lost to I learned. That is really important, the I learned part. Within 48, go ahead.
I think kind of what you're saying on that, you have to be careful to not say I lost, therefore it's that person's fault. You have to say you have to reflect internally and be like, what did I do wrong? Did I not come in big enough? Did I not come in shredded enough? Did I not prepare enough? And I was posing poorly on stage, whatever it is, you just need to, like you said, I learned that I did this wrong, instead of saying the judges hate me. The IFBB is mad at me. The
judges are biased.
The judges are biased. They had a competitor of theirs in the show, like whatever the reason. I think that's like a delusional mindset instead of like you said, a accepting and learning mindset.
But let's say there was bias, because we can't say that there hasn't been a competition in the history of bodybuilding that there wasn't a bias and there wasn't some foul play, so to speak. There has
that
been.
might happen, but you also have to learn from, okay, maybe I'll just try to do a show that judge doesn't
Either it doesn't, or I'm going to be so damn good. Even he can't see that I can't be it's just going to be so obvious. And even if that judge was continually to down, it's going to be so obvious to the rest of the community. So So your win may not be winning first place, but you win with everybody else and they'll have your respect because they saw what a dickhead that judge was if they have that consistency.
Yeah.
So it's that whole, it's not fair. That's fragile confidence. Even if the it's not fair was true.
I just want to put an example out there. So you had Derek Lunsford and Nick Walker compete in Pittsburgh this year, and it was a big controversy. Derek got the win, but most people felt like Nick should have won.
Mm-hmm.
That was the public opinion.
Yep.
And there was big debates over it. You could see on Nick's face that at that moment he was pissed off that he didn't win, because I think he thought he should, obviously. Sure. But he went on to New York, and he still says, I know that judges voted a certain way, but as far as I'm concerned, I won that show. Mm-hmm. So he's not letting it get to him. On the other hand, we just had Masters Olympia, and you have Phil Clahar with against Dorian Haywood, and it was a apples to oranges. Who do you like better? And there was some speculation on the judging, with the scores changing drastically from prejudging to the night show, and maybe there was foul play, maybe not, whatever, I don't know. But Phil Clahar is on every podcast raising hell. He got screwed. The IFBB's out to get him. He's quitting bodybuilding. Well, not bodybuilding, but quitting the IFBB. And I mean, and everybody's on the bandwagon with the fixes in. And I had a personal experience. I was not at the 1980 Olympia because I was like 13 years old or something. But later, I was roommates with Mike Menser. And I can tell you that 80 Olympia destroyed him. Years later, I mean, all he would bitch about was the 80 Olympia, talk about Arnold. And I remember one time, he says, I don't give a shit about Arnold. I said, well, for somebody you don't give a shit about, you sure talk about him an awful lot. He really didn't like me saying that. But like, he did that 80 Olympia, and I believe the fix was in. So was probably most of bodybuilding, but he quit. He quit competing after that. And not only did he quit competing, but like his whole life went into like a downward spiral from that. Not just competing.
He's talking about a fragile confidence.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because he was so good. I mean, he may have came back the next year and won the Olympia and had a different trajectory on his whole life, but he was so destroyed by losing that one show, which, I mean, understandable. You lost the biggest competition of your life. It's probably crushing, but that the competitor spirit is to get back up and say, what can I learn from this? And like, maybe come in the next year undeniable,
Even people with supremes, that stable confidence I was talking about, it doesn't mean they can't be angry at the moment or disappointed. Mm-hmm. That's natural. Name me an athlete who doesn't want to win. Everybody wants to win, but as we all know, only one person can win. So it's even if you followed everything your coach said, you practiced your posing, everything was on point. You're obviously eating everything, and you didn't win. You might think, I got ripped off. This is the best shape I've ever been, the best presentation. Guess what? Maybe someone else's presentation was better in that moment. Doesn't mean in general. Maybe on Instagram they look better, or you look better than them, or they look, who knows? We all know Instagram is not a great predictor of what's going to happen on stage anyway.
Yeah.
But it's more about saying, it doesn't mean you didn't give your best. Maybe they had more years to put on some muscle density. It doesn't mean you didn't try your best and followed everything that you should have. Maybe you just needed a little bit more time, and this was still not a waste of time because it gave you experience. There's no replacement for experience. As you all know, we can all practice in the mirror till we're blue in the face. It's very different when you're on stage. Yeah. You need that stage experience. I don't care how many years you've been competing.
I think there's also something in bodybuilding where you have to be confident, but you also have to be self-aware that there's a huge genetic component. I mean, like I'm never going to beat Phil Heath because he has different genetics than me. It's just kind of like what it was. And so you got to I think maybe find that stable confidence just within your own potential.
Realistic expectations is
not having delusion of I'm the best because there's no possible reality where I'm not the best.
Well, actually, since you brought that up, I just want to make an analogy or comparison. You brought up Phil Heath, and through his entire career, his nemesis was Kai Green. And I remember going to the Olympia. I went to almost all of Phil's Olympias, and there was always a huge fans of Kai Green that were just adamant that Kai Green should win. But he never beat Phil Heath. And I personally, and just this is my unbiased opinion, I don't think Kai Green could ever beat Phil Heath because structurally Phil was just better.
Yeah.
It didn't matter how big or shredded he was. Phil was just structurally better. He just was put together better. So,
well, if Phil came off, of course Kai can win.
Well, of course, if he was off. But I'm just saying when they're both on, and he never competed against Phil off. Phil was only off when Kai was out of it, and he went against
later in his career.
Later when he had the stomach problem. But when they were competing, I mean, Kai matched him in size, matched him in conditioning. He just had a different structure.
Bigger, actually. I think Kai was 10, 15 pounds bigger, but still Phil had the structure of his shoulders and his waist and his back and his he had all this stuff. Kai was fantastic too, but he just didn't quite have the same look.
But it doesn't mean Kai wasn't great.
I think about his awesome routine, so he still has a legacy. So here's the thing: when you're in bodybuilding, we have an idea of how we want to be remembered.
Mm-hmm.
Being one of the best posers in the world is not a bad legacy to leave either.
Yeah, he was the people's champ in many ways. People liked him more just because they liked his posing better. They liked who he was. They liked his underdog story. They liked the things about him more than Phil Heath. But the judges are only looking at pose by pose. Who got first place on the front double? Who got first place on the side tricep? They're not looking at a lot of these other things. And even now they don't. Even then they didn't really critique the posing routine. It's just part of the show. It's not part of the points.
But it's interesting what Lesley says, because I had Denny Hester on my podcast yesterday, and we talked about posing, and we talked about ideals and judging criteria. And I always tell everyone, body build and try to create the body you want, and that is your ideal and not what the judges want. Criteria could change any day, and have a vision for what you want to present.
Yeah. And
there's legends that never won an Olympia.
Mm-hmm.
There's one guy that just built his legacy on posing, like Bob Paris. 10th place was his best. Yeah. Everyone knows him. There's some guys like, let's say Yusuf Bilkosh came in 3rd. How many people know him still? There's a lot of people that place better than he ever did. And still Bob Paris is one of the greatest.
Yeah.
If you want to be great, you can be great without winning the Olympia.
That's right.
And and also about the winning and losing, I think it also is harder on people that have no character, have no purpose, so their goal doesn't match their purpose. But because their goal is just winning, and maybe they don't even enjoy the ride that much.
They don't even like bodybuilding.
If you just love bodybuilding and you lose, you keep on bodybuilding.
Still bodybuild, yeah.
So you know what I mean? And that's the thing with a lot of people. It's not how it should be. You have to love what you do every freaking day. And I see all these people whining about, cut this prep is so hard, and I can't move, and it's so tough. And I'm like, cool, do something else, bro. Yeah.
Be a race car driver.
Yeah. I mean, stop whining. Like there's the door. You can do something else. And that's the problem. And then you're extra disappointed because it sucked all the way for no placing, of course. So I think a lot of things are already unhealthy in along the whole way, and that's going to lead you to more misery if you don't win. So if those people don't win, they're totally destroyed. And also, what do they have after bodybuilding? A lot of people start bodybuilding because they have a complex. They have no self-esteem, like Lesley said, and if they don't have bodybuilding, or they lose their muscles, or it's like the end of their life, they're like totally lost. Like, what am I going to do?
Yeah,
going to sweep the road?
You know what? I want to jump in on that. That's something that I see a lot with guys that are big, and being big is their personality, and it's their whole everything.
Yeah.
And then they try to push a lot heavier drugs and heavier cycles late into their career and try to be big when they're way down the road, when they got high blood pressure and crap, everything. And then they're starting to affect their health, and they're like, I still don't care. I don't care if I, get a heart attack when I'm 60, but I just have to stay big, and I have to do that. A lot of people, bodybuilding or just being big is their confidence. That's all the confidence they have. They don't have, like you said, any other character, because if they don't have a physique, then they aren't anything. So that's another aspect of that as well.
There's an important balance that needs to happen. Sorry, go ahead, Larry.
I started bodybuilding when I was 13, and I did my first competition when I was 16. But when I was 20, I did my first powerlifting meet. And I was sort of a fan of powerlifting because I saw Ed Cohen in the magazine, so I was sort of a fan of his. But I didn't know really anything about powerlifting. I just happened to be in a place where they were having a powerlifting competition, and somebody said, you should do it. And what I didn't know the rules. I didn't know the commands. I didn't know how to do it right. I knew how to squat, bench, and deadlift because I did that in my training, but I never did a powerlifting meet. But I went in there and I actually won the thing because I was just stronger than everybody else. Mm. And for me, I did both. And some people don't agree with this because I know bodybuilders think powerlifting is a bad idea because you're going to get hurt. But, I liked it when I do my bodybuilding competitions, but then afterwards I could still compete and not have to be on a diet and still be able to compete in something else. And powerlifting was, for me, a different kind of fun. Mm-hmm. I got to say, like, bodybuilding competition is not fun. Yeah. It's something I love to do because it's a passion, but the process is not fun. I don't have a problem being on a diet or any of that, but when you get to the competition, like, no one really, well, this isn't always true, but for the most part, people don't talk to each other backstage. You're very serious. Everybody's like hardcore, like cutthroat, out to win. It's just a very serious whole thing. And in powerlifting, it's completely different. Like, it's just like rah. Everybody's cheering for everybody else. Everybody wants to see everybody win. There's not this, like, I'm trying to beat you kind of thing. And so it's just a totally different thing. If you go to a bodybuilding competition, it's compared to powerlifting, it's quiet. You go to powerlifting, everybody's cheering for everybody. Even people that suck, they're cheering.
I don't. And I'm very alone with that. And what these people don't realize is if they would be like me, they would look better because they are stressing out like crazy. Mm-hmm. If we had a good time backstage, we would talk about anything, they would look better.
But how many times do you go to a bodybuilding competition and the guys back there are just, no one's talking to each other?
Yeah. Last time I competed, there's quite a bit of camaraderie between, we were all pros and stuff. I just had turned pro. Got a lot of guys were like, congratulate. I don't know. I feel like it is what you make of it backstage, backstage at USA's, I had a stomach ache. So I was kind of laying down and everyone was just kind of like laying beside me. We're just chatting about like what we were going to eat after we were done, talking about eating cereal with milk and stuff.
I guess for me, when I would compete in bodybuilding was like, I want to win. I want to win. That's all that was in my head. I got to win.
Yeah.
And when I competed in
everybody knew I'd
powerlifting,
already won at USA's, so I think the pressure was off kind of. The guy in second was hoping for a rejudge, but I told him like, I think I sealed this deal at prejudging. So it was pretty much like kind of, I don't know, just kind of easy. And everyone was like getting each other's Instagrams and stuff. We were like chicks backstage or something.
But like I was saying, when I go to powerlifting, it wasn't, I wasn't really competing against anybody else. It was just like trying to do my better numbers than my own.
Yeah.
So there wasn't that thing of I got to beat somebody.
I think definitely at the national level, because guys will be knocking on the door a few times, so they'll see each other. The guy from Colorado, the guy from New Mexico, the guy from they're all talking on the message boards. This is 10 years ago, but I think that they there's at the national, it's like a collegiate football or something. Like the guys all kind of know each other. They haven't gone pro yet, so they're all kind of like vying for that spot. So I think there's a lot more camaraderie maybe at the national level than so much maybe the regional or city level, because the regional or city level, everyone's just kind of like their first show, they're nervous, they don't know, they don't really know what they're doing too much. Even the national level, it's kind of like a little more camaraderie. And then I think in the pros, you're kind of all part of a group that's like a little bit more elite, so there's even a little bit more. And then it was, some guys were kind of quiet, didn't want to talk. I mean, maybe because they were trying to be zoned in, but I felt like I made like some really cool connections after I turned pro at my pro debut, and like I met Hollingstead, and I'd been like following him on Instagram. I was like, man, it's great to meet you. We went out to like pizza and stuff after. So I feel like there's camaraderie. It's kind of like what you make of it. But I being a owner in Iron Rebel, I went to tons of powerlifting shows, and I agree. The powerlifting community is like, they are very tight knit. A lot of people follow each other on Instagram, and they're kind of just in there like beating their own numbers. I kind of like the aspect of like, it's a very number based. Like if you pulled this or you didn't do this, maybe there's a little bit of variance in like, did that guy squat deep enough? Did this bar stop in the right way? Maybe that's a little bit on the judging, but like mostly it's just like, did you pick it up with good form? If not, then you just didn't win. But with bodybuilding, it's like, oh, his biceps are full and the guy's biceps are striated. I don't know what's better, like whoever the judge is, kind of whatever the criteria is. So there's a little bit more of like a pageantry.
Yeah, I always competed in powerlifting. It was like, I lift the weight, and as long as I do it right by the rules, they can't really say much about it.
Yeah, I like the preparation part of bodybuilding. I like to put myself through it. I like to be challenged. I like to lift heavy. I like all those things. I like how I look. I'm looking in the mirror. I'm like abs and your legs are shredded and stuff. But like, I don't love the on stage part, because I'm just wearing this like micro freaking postage stamp of a posing suit, and I'm kind of out there dancing around and stuff like that. I like the winning part, but I don't necessarily care so much for the competing part. But I mean, it's just part of it. If I want to be in a sport or in a competitive aspect, I have to do that. So
yeah, for me, like my passion has always been bodybuilding, but powerlifting is fun and bodybuilding is serious. That's just, I've always competed with that mindset.
yeah,
I go to powerlifting meet, it's like fun. Bodybuilding, it's like, it's what I want to do, but it's not necessarily fun, especially when you're like dehydrated and.
Wait, I want to know from Lesley. I don't know how much you know about Sergio, but you definitely know his father was a legend. So what do you think about him mindset wise? What does he have to struggle with? And maybe you know something about his history and maybe have some ideas what he should try to improve on.
So I think Sergio is like a lot of other athletes in that you can look really good before the show. Show days always, well, I mean, I think we can say that for everybody. We're not sure. I think it's the part of getting into his head. It's the comparison. It's trying to living up to expectations. I think what he really needs to work on is, I would love to work with him on some process goals. His focus is not where it needs to be, and his why needs to be fine-tuned a little bit about why he's competing. It's not just the why of I want to win. It's got to be a lot deeper than that. It's not even just I'm following my father's footsteps. There's more that needs to be done there, and I'd love to work with him on that. But I want him also to learn how to control the controllables. So, Larry, you were saying that before, bodybuilding is a very serious sport. Well, we can take that and use it to the advantage of bodybuilders by being more strategic on how we think about it seriously. So if we look at the losing component for a second, when I was saying about reframing that piece about the I lost who I learned, it's being a bit more strategic on not just saying, okay, what did I learn? Write down within 48 hours of your show, write down 3 things that you did well. Maybe it was conditioning, maybe it was posing, maybe it was the discipline that you had, whatever those 3 things are. And then add 3 things that you want to improve upon. That could be a lagging body part. It might be stage presence, maybe timing a peak week, whatever that might mean. You need a more strategic approach by nailing it down exactly what needs to be done versus I just need to do better. Because by keeping the brain focused on controllable factors instead of external judging, you learn how to get more of this stable confidence that I'm talking about. So
I can tell you personally, I am my own worst critic, and I can say I do learn from my wins and failures. And I know that I have self-sabotaged myself at many shows by overdoing it at the end.
Mm-hmm.
And I know I do it.
I don't think you're alone.
Like 1 week out, and I do a qualifier, and I'm spot on, peeled, shredded, full, like ready. And then, I need to be more peeled. Like there's nothing left. And then I'll go do like a bunch of cardio or just some stupid shit. And then I lose 15 pounds.
Yep.
End up coming flat. I've done this a bunch of times. And I did one show in 3 years. 3 shows in 1 year. The first show I came in, I went from like 240 all the way down to like 197, emaciated. 3 months later, I go to nationals. I'm 215. I'm better, but not really better. And then after that show, I went and ate a bunch of shit. And then I was like 225 the next day, like crazy peeled. So then 3 months later, I go to the next show and I come in 225 peeled. And that was my best. So it was like, I just stopped effing up. I didn't gain 30 pounds of muscle. I just regained my muscle that I dieted myself off.
But where you effed up was up here. It wasn't the training. It wasn't the eating. It was up here.
No, it was overdoing it, over dieting, over
thinking you
everything.
have to do more. That's up here. Mm-hmm. That drives the behavior. When you deal with this, the behavior, and here's the thing. Most people lose their minds, and I say that a little bit loosely. I'm not saying insanity, but sometimes it feels that way when you're in prep. This is why it's good to have a reliable coach or someone who will be real with you, not just blow, smoke up your ass, but be really real with you. Mm-hmm. And to let you know whether you need to stop doing what you're doing, whether that be excess cardio, whether it's being too much carbs, whatever that might be, and that you will listen to. Because they need to be your brain, because your brain is offline. When we're under stress, our brain goes offline. We can't think clearly. It has to do with our prefrontal cortex. This is our commander. It makes decisions, it plans, and it basically has good confidence. When there is any kind of huge stress on it, whether it be external or internal pressure, our commander goes offline. So it becomes harder to think clearly or make calm choices. So that's why I'm saying in some ways we've lost our minds when we're in prep, and we need that other person to kind of guide us, especially toward the end.
Yeah. I got another question regarding Sergio. You said you think he has to shift his why. What do you think his why right now is?
I would want to, okay, here's the thing. I'm only speculating because I have never spoken with Sergio.
Yeah.
I would love to work with him though. It's when you have a father like he did,
Mhm.
that has the legacy, it's hard to walk in those steps.
Mm.
You know, who doesn't want to root for Sergio? Like we all want to root for him.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's even if it's we put what everyone else thinks aside, what he, you know, as the son, we develop our own kind of internal pressure of what we should be.
Yeah.
Okay. And the greatest compliment for any mentor is that your student succeeds you.
Mm.
Well, what I've seen over the years with Sergio, just in observation, and this is not against a knock on him, but he's very emotional.
Sensitive.
Like, I mean, he takes everything personally.
Personally.
Yeah, and anybody says anything about him, he takes it personally, he gets upset.
And a lot of bodybuilders are like that, Larry. But if I think a big core piece, you know, and Leo, this to answer your question for Sergio, like many other bodybuilders, they need to work with a mental game coach like myself to really like nail down this stable confidence. Because stable confidence, you could have it for one show and not have it for the other. It's not something that on competition day, all of a sudden you bring out. It's something you practice, like posing, before you need it, as you need it. And that's the biggest component. People are looking for like the best new steroid.
How do you build up that stable confidence? Could you have like fragile confidence and then continue that into like a more stable, or are they just different like mindset?
There's steps to basically concretely take that I'll take an athlete to develop their confidence to make it more stable. It's certainly not an overnight thing.
I don't want to like give away your proprietary information, but could you give us like maybe some like generalized examples of like
Sure.
what you might do?
So part of it, there's a bunch, and these aren't in by no means any kind of order, but it's really digging down to your why. That's one piece. Another is trusting the process. We have a hard time because we second guess it all the time. We can second guess our coaches sometimes. Now, sometimes we should second guess the coaches depending on what they're doing. But generally speaking, we have to be able to say, if this is the plan, it's kind of like too many cooks in the kitchen.
Yeah.
It could be like, let's say you have a coach, but you've got a bunch of friends. They might be doing different things.
What do you think of my plan? Instead of just, nobody should see it but you and your coach.
And part of stable confidence is staying off the social media thing.
Yeah.
I understand from their sponsorships, so there's obligations to post a certain number or whatever, and I get that.
Yeah.
Closer to competition, I would say get your buddy, give him the rights to your Instagram, line up what you want to do, have them do it so you don't get tempted.
Yeah, there's apps that you can use also, like one is called Buffer, where you just load it onto there and it posts it directly for you, and you don't even have to be logged into your Instagram and look at other people's stuff and doom scroll or anything. You can just do like, and I actually counsel a lot of, because I do coaching, I counsel a lot of my people to get off social media and to not get off it, but like look at it as a business. If you're hundreds of thousands of followers and you have all this stuff, look at your social media as a business. Like just get on there to post something, to make a few like things, but don't get on there and kill your day doom scrolling and comparing yourself and doing those things and wasting like a bunch of time. Just get on there to do like your job, or even like just do your job, like shoot content, create content, post content, instead of like it's not, social media in that aspect isn't there for your enjoyment. It's just for your income. Like and look at it as a job, like an income. Like you go, you clock in for work, and like, okay, I'm writing up an article for my for my social media. I'm writing up I'm doing, I'm bringing in new clients and I'm like onboarding them, like you're just doing stuff that's like work, instead of like, oh, I'm just on here fucking around on social media,
It's basically identify every distraction you would have.
Mm-hmm.
then game plan. What are you going to do to address each one of those?
Yeah.
Now, what's your backup plan for that too? People don't have a backup plan, even if they make it to the, okay, I'll just stay off and I'll use an app to help me not go on social media. Not to say that's good. What's the next level?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. We were talking about genetics earlier. That's the thing. People are going to be genetically stronger than you in certain areas. We can't do anything about that. So what about maximizing what you do have? Not just physically, this. Because the most genetically gifted person, if they get in their head, they're going to be watery on stage. That's your chance. Do not ever let a chance go by.
Good genetics can actually, in some cases, be a hindrance because they just say, oh, I don't have to try as hard. I don't have to do this stuff. Where the person that has the poor genetics says, I know I can't skip a thing. I can't skip a step of cardio. I can't eat an extra grain of rice. I can't cheat on anything. I can't, relax because I have to do this or else I will lose. Where the other person just says like, I'm never going to lose. Like I can screw off my program, and they can up to a certain level. When they're at the regional level, maybe they turn pro, but up in the pro league, everyone's got your genetics. Every single person's got as good or better.
I've actually seen that the people I've coached, the most genetically blessed people screw up the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they never have to work for it. They don't know what actual
work is.
Reward is.
It just comes to them. It comes to them so easily. Yeah. And then when the time does come that it's going to get hard, they don't want to work that hard.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen that across, like almost.
Yeah,
I know right now 3 people that should be pro that are not.
But if they would work hard in any other area of their life, they could do it. Those people are always generally gifted, and then they're generally lazy. I don't think there's any guy who's who does, anything difficult in his life where he had to study a lot or something. And then all of a sudden for bodybuilding, he's like, well, no. You know what I mean? I always feel that those people are also in other aspects of life. They're not giving their all at something else.
If I can just also add on to what Luke was asking me earlier about how do you develop this stable confidence, apart from minimizing and addressing game planning, what your strategies are going to be on addressing the distractions, it's also detaching your identity from the outcome. Okay, so it's basically you see yourself as an athlete on a long journey.
Win or lose, you're still the same person.
Yes, and you're not a one-time competitor. People usually don't go on stage and this is my one time and that's the only time I'm going to compete.
Yeah.
Oftentimes we get the bug, even if that was
maybe if you hate it, that's the case. Maybe if you're like, I'm just here for the social media clicks and for the engagement. And
I've had a couple people that competed on the national level, didn't place where they thought they should have, and literally quit.
They weren't mentally ready. It's not for everybody, as we know. Bodybuilding isn't for everybody.
And maybe they didn't enjoy bodybuilding. Maybe they went through the prep and just were like, this sucks. Like, I don't want to do this again. I want to eat pizzas and powerlift.
I've seen that too. I've seen some people that I pushed really hard. They came in amazing shape, actually did well. And then afterwards they're like, they just shut down. And they're just like, I'm not doing this anymore. And I do that too. I mean, after a show, I shut down for a week or something.
For a period of time, but you get back up.
Yeah. But I'm not like, I'm done. I think I was lucky when I was young as a teenager. I competed and I won my first show, and I won almost all my teenage shows as a teenager. So that gave me a lot of confidence. And I don't think I was like super genetics. I was naturally lean. So I just came in shredded all the time. So I beat people, which I guess that is sort of a genetic thing too, in a way, because I didn't have to do, well, actually I did cardio. I did all that, but I always came in shape.
Just came
but I've seen people that, they just don't win it right away, and then it's like it blows their whole mindset.
Because it's their expectations that were not managed. They expected this will be easy. I checked off all the boxes of what I was supposed to do. I should win. Here goes with the shoulds again. That's the fragile confidence.
Everyone on Instagram thinks that they already talk about my pro card as if they already earn it. I always said a pro card. It's not mine yet. Like when I hear that, I get an allergic reaction. I'm gonna win my pro card. Like it's already done. So like It's already, like I ordered it and I'm gonna just pick it up.
Amazon Prime, please. Yeah.
It's already ordered. Yeah, it's gonna be delivered that day. And these people never win. Their pro card.
We could talk about a experience that I had with and it's a big like regret and a big thing in my life that I've had to kind of like just deal with. And it's when I turned pro, I pretty much knew I was going to turn pro. Like I was coming in, I was very good the year. I placed 4th the year before, and then I just got way, way better. I linked up with a coach, Phil, and we were coming in. And so I had already set my sights, like I'm going to be Mr. USA. Like I was like going to be that. I was like really, I was working hard for it, but I was like very confident. And then it came to it and I won my pro card and I did. And then I didn't win the overall. And it kind of goes back to like, that's my biggest like downfall in bodybuilding is that I didn't get to become Mr. USA. And it didn't necessarily shake my confidence because I was very happy that I won my card, but I still was like, I have this huge, it was like bittersweet. I have this huge regret that I did something wrong. We peaked incorrectly, and there was things that went wrong for sure. And, we kind of learned from it, but still I have this like regret from like that one show because I can't go back. Like, and now if they take my pro card, maybe I can go back and win it. But like, I was already like on to the future and I couldn't like go back and re-win that show. So it was like a real like devastating thing actually in my career. So that's just kind of like a personal experience I have with like maybe an example of fragile confidence.
So knowing that now and looking back on it then, Luke, what would you say is one positive thing that came out from losing Mr. USA?
It gave me the drive to bodybuild harder, like I haven't competed since 2018, and like it's just kind of like ups and downs in life. But I mean, like I've been at the level where I could, and like I pushed extremely hard. Like I pushed
too much talent.
Maybe
too much talent.
Phil,
I have way less
Larry
talent.
tells me that all the time.
More consistent than you.
I agree. You're not wrong.
35 shows. How many did you do?
Maybe 10.
Yeah, I come.
No, I will say I've been watching Luke for several years now.
Yeah,
and I'm just going to be straight out. He should be in the Olympia. He should already have been in the Olympia like 2 years ago, at least. And I know he's been through motorcycle accidents and some other things, but I don't know. It's like you self-sabotage yourself at the end somehow.
Yeah.
I've seen this guy look unfucking real during a prep, and then somehow he just doesn't go through with it. I've seen you.
Next time you compete, let me know.
All right.
And then here's the thing: when I work with athletes, ideally for me to help you to bring you to your mentally best, we don't wait till peak week to work together. We work in your off season leading into your prep.
No, you definitely have to build a lot of. It's like counseling or therapy, probably like building those confident things. And I mean, I can say like I got my motorcycle accident in 2021, and then I came back. It took me like a year. Came back from that, and then in 2022, I was getting ready to compete, and then my mom came down with kidney failure, and I went and took care of her, and I kind of like was up here, actually up where I'm at right now, and taking care of her. And then going into 2023, I was like huge, looking crazy. And then I ruptured my bicep tendon. And then that kind of like reset me to like where I'm at now. And then, it's just kind of like catastrophic things keep setting me back every time I get to the precipice of like getting on like a really good prep and getting like to that level. So, I mean, like I have the plans for it. Like I definitely am trying to put the things in place, and like Larry's not wrong. Like I do lose consistency because
you have to commit like to toothbrushing.
Yeah.
It's like anyone could die around you. You're doing it. You help them, but you still go to the gym and eat your meals. Like
you're right.
One thing
I gotta eat anyways. So
one thing I want to interject, and I know there's competitors listening to this, and this is what I see a lot. Your contest prep does not start 18, 20, 12, whatever weeks out. If you're going to compete, your contest prep starts after your last competition. Your off season matters. If you think you're going to fuck off in the off season, and that 12 weeks out, you're just going to all of a sudden, pull a miracle and have this amazing prep. You're going to lose. And I see this all the fucking time. All the time. Yeah. I know 3 people right now. It's like contest is over. I'm fucking off. I'm doing shit, doing whatever. And they have no really plan for anything until next year.
Those are the 4 months.
I'll see you next year at, 18 weeks out.
Well, the 4 months bodybuilders that look the same every year. You see them all the time.
That kind of like,
and they look the same.
Larry, that kind of reminds me of in 2017, I got to my first national show. I competed in the USA's and I got 4th place. And I came home and I got a trophy. I got a trophy for 4th place. And I was like, damn, I did great. And I put that trophy on my nightstand and I looked at it every morning. I woke up and I said, I got 4th fucking place. And then I came back the next year and like, I lit into that story. Like I wanted to win USA's, but I got my card, but I was like I was far and above a way better. I used that loss as like, don't fucking do that again. I literally put it on that trophy right on my nightstand. And every morning my alarm was Sanitarium by Metallica. And then I would wake up and look at that at 6 a.m. and start my day. And I would like eat all my meals. And I got huge after that. So, that's kind of maybe her, like what she's saying, like take a loss as like a motivator to like push you to a new height.
Mm-hmm.
Strategically done though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I know like some people is like, I'm going to do my life and then I'll compete and I'll start competing, 12 weeks or 18 weeks, whatever, before the show.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, you're going to lose if you think like that, because you're already starting from behind. I mean, yeah, that might work, at the very beginning, at the amateur, when you're like in the bottom of the bottom. But once you start getting into real competition, no, because the other guys are working all year long. And they're going to beat you because they're working all year long.
That's true.
And one thing, I never trained. How do I phrase this right? I trained to train and get better, and I competed because I could. But whether there was a competition or not, I was always trying to get better. I mean, I spent 6 years in prison, and I can tell you I never missed a workout. I ate as good as I could. There was no competition. We had one powerlifting meet every year, but there was no bodybuilding competition. Mm-hmm. And I had a friend of mine in prison. He was doing a long time, and he was a former competitor. Every year he would diet down. He'd do a contest prep and just take pictures. Yeah, because he couldn't get on stage. So he just but he trained all year long because he just wanted bodybuilding.
Yeah. I mean, I love bodybuilding. I bodybuild with no competition in sight. Like I just like having big arms and looking lean and eating a lot of food and stuff. I enjoy the lifestyle of bodybuilding. Well, even after I retire and I downsize a little, I'm still gonna go to the gym, 4 or 5 days a week.
I see it. There was when I started competing. I'll just throw names out there: Sean Ray, Rich Gasperi, Lee Haney. I mean, all of them. I was a little bit younger than them. I'm a year younger than Sean Ray. I was a couple of years younger than Gasperi. And I remember like they all competed, had great careers, and then after they finished competing, they just quit.
Yeah, I noticed that with like
they all quit. And I would go to the shows, and I'd see them all skinny and sucked up, and I'd be like, "Why do you not train anymore?" He goes, "I'm not going to say a specific name, but somebody goes, you can't just do this shit forever." I'm like, I'm still doing it. I didn't stop.
I mean, look at Ronnie. He's still doing it.
Look
at Ronnie. He's still doing it, and he's crippled. Like he's,
I know, but I mean,
he loves it. Ronnie just loves lifting. Like he just goes in there because he absolutely loves it. Like he's gonna die on the leg press. He's still gonna keep going.
Look, I'll be 59 in November, and I'm still training as hard as I can.
Yeah,
I can't do everything like I could, but I'm still doing as hard as I can.
Yeah,
because I just love training and going to the gym. And honestly, I'll just throw something in there. I just got the best blood work I've ever had right now.
That's great.
Maybe that's from that SLUP stuff.
Yes,
but
sir.
I was shocked. I trained legs on Sunday.
Let me guess. So your triglyceride cut in half?
They're lower.
Yeah. Your creatinine is down?
Yep.
Your BUN is down?
Normal range.
What else did I have?
Leo, what do you think about the gorilla chemist saying that he ran like 8,000 times the dose? Like the dose that comes in those are usually like 500 micrograms, and he was running like 100 milligrams a day.
How can you afford that?
I guess it's not as expensive as what people think it is.
Well, then he must eat the.
He got it.
I don't know.
He got it direct. So he was saying that like in the research studies, they were saying it's like 4 milligrams per kilogram was like the dose that they used in the studies, but they're using like microgram doses in the products that are out right now.
But 4 milligrams would be 8 capsules right now. If you have a 500 capsule, that's not that much. But 100 milligrams.
No, 4 milligrams per kilogram was what they used in the research studies.
Okay.
Like on rats, they were using like.
It seems usually they do that to avoid that something gets what is it called? Legalized.
Uh-huh.
So they want shit to happen. So they just overdose it like crazy. So
they can't, nobody can do it.
It's so dumb. Like, let's overdose sugar by 100 times.
Yeah.
Like, everyone drops dead. So we can like FDA must be like, sugar is not allowed anymore. If you eat like 5,000 grams a day, you'll die.
It's true.
Yeah, no shit. So dumb.
Lesley, I want to touch it. Do you have any other confidence
boosters
building?
Yeah. One is the mental reset, having a mental reset ritual after every show.
How do you do that?
So let's say after the show, start with a reset cue, and that might be like a shower, taking a shower.
I call it a brown shower because you got all that tan on.
Brown. And then when you're in the women's, you have all the makeup and all this other crap that we have in our face. But and then, or take a deep breath. Literally writing down in a logbook that show completed.
Yeah.
Signal that the show is over. Then you shift your focus to your next training block. Like Larry was saying, you don't stop, even if the show is done.
Mm-hmm.
You can take a couple days off from the gym. That's not what I'm talking about. It's like mentally, there needs to be a next.
Yeah.
Because if there's not a next, what we do is we ruminate.
I already look at the calendar for next year.
You game plan. There's a strategy. If there's not a strategy in place, your mind will fill it in with a bunch of crap. That's why when we're our own worst enemies, it goes to work.
I see a lot of people, specifically like females, like they'll do a show and then they're just like, they're on to the next show and they're on to the next show. And they'll do like, 20 shows back to back. And they're kind of just like, they never do and then they do it for like 2 years. And then they just are like, I can't bodybuild anymore. And then they just go off the rails the other way.
Totally
They stop completely. They don't go to the gym. They gain 25, 35 pounds. And they just are like, I can't even. And then they'll talk like, they're like, I can't even like get on a meal plan. Like I hate, like just even the thought of it is just like, it's like traumatic to try to get on because they like, don't, like you said, they don't have like a resetting period where they just are like, okay, I need to breathe. They just are like, back to back, like, Monday morning is training. Saturday was a show. Sunday morning cardio after the show. It's like, and like some of that stuff can be healthy, but like when it becomes a repetitive disorder, it becomes negative.
Well, especially for the women. I mean, at least with the men, they have an idea that they're not going to grow if they keep going in shows all year.
Yeah.
Well, like I understand you have to do qualifiers and stuff like that, but if you compete too many times, you're not going to build enough muscle in your off season if you don't give yourself that break to be able to come in bigger and better next time.
Yeah.
Women can get away with it when they're in the depending on what category they're in by doing a lot of shows. But to your point, it can have definitely an effect on their hormones. Obviously their joints.
Yeah. Well, these are physical things, but I think what I was talking about is like
there's the mental piece. Yeah. Burnout.
Yeah. Burnout.
They go too hard and they fizzle out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they don't want to look at a meal plan. They don't even want to go to the gym because they went too hard. It's being strategic. If you're going to take on a task and a commitment like bodybuilding, it's a commitment. It's not a 1 or 2 or 3 year. Like this is looking at least 10 years, 15, 20, 30. Like this is a long period of time. You have to strategize how you move forward if you're going to stay in it for longevity.
So what you're saying is that if you are going to stay out for longevity, you need to have almost like a ritualistic reset where like, okay, the show season is over. Like we're going to go out on Saturday night. We're going to eat with everybody. Maybe we're going to go on a vacation to, the beach and get tan and have a couple alcohol drinks and eat burgers and do whatever. And then kind of like allow yourself a little bit of time to reset your brain. And then also kind of set, okay, the goals now are going to be, after this kind of like ritualistic reset.
But it's being smart with the goals. That acronym SMART?
Yeah.
Specific,
I don't think I know the acronym.
Achievable, realistic, and time. So the time piece is really important. Is to saying, how much time am I I'm going to be allowed to go off my meal plan, but don't be bitches about it either. Be reasonable.
Yeah.
If you're sick of chicken, fine, but don't eat crap all day, every day for like weeks on end.
Yeah.
You're going to totally blow out your physique.
Don't rebound where you just like in 4 days, you destroy 4 weeks of prep.
Or 4 months of prep.
Or 4 months of prep. Yeah.
It could be 4 months of prep.
Yeah.
So it's not being, it's being a bit, and to your point, I'm not saying don't go on vacation, don't enjoy yourself. Be strategic on what that looks like.
Yeah.
Give yourself that break, but know that on a certain date when you come back,
it's time.
There's going to be, it's game on. It's about developing what are your next steps. Now, the things I would want you before you go on a vacation to figure out what your next show is going to be. I'm not saying you have to prep for it. Just have it in your mind, because then you process it a little bit in the back of your mind to help you start mentally getting ready for it, even if it's a year out.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work that goes with the mental prep.
I think maybe that's something that I need to do. Maybe I'll hit you up. We can work together. I think I need to, because I just have like tentatively, I want to do a show next year. And I'm like, okay, I know deep down, I need to do these things. I need to build, I need to build my legs up a little bit. I need to just kind of overall put on, 10, 15 pounds, but like, I'd like to most of it just be on my legs. And then like, I kind of have like a checklist. Like after I do this, I would like to pick a show, but I think I need to like almost just like do whatever I can through the rest of the year and then pick a show and just do it, because like it's been 7 years since I competed. And now it's like, it's so hard for me to get back because I'm just like, I'm looking at Nick Walker and I'm looking at, you know, all these guys. And I'm like, maybe I just need to be realistic and just be like, my first step is just to get back to the stage. And then
just pick a show.
And then I can just kind of like remake my goals from there of like, okay, this is what I really do need to work
Luke,
on.
let me just say something.
Yeah.
You do not see yourself realistically. We were at the Cal, I think it was last year, and I said, you should be on that stage right now. And you said to me, do you think I could compete against those guys? And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Tony O'Burton just won that show, and you're way bigger than him. And you have a better structure. Or maybe it's good at the structure.
I think maybe an issue is because I'll look at myself posing in the mirror, like when we do posing, and I'm like, I look good. And then I'll review it on my phone, and the phone like distorts how it like makes me narrower. And I look at it, and I look at these guys, and I'm like, I see like there's a like what I'm looking at isn't like what I'm looking at with them. So I get kind of in my head about like, all right, I gotta like put this.
Well,
size
I'm
155
totally
right now, so I'm
totally subjective, not biased, and I'm looking at you when I've seen you, you know, really big and lean.
Yeah,
and I've seen them too, in person, and they got nothing that you don't have, except that they're on the stage and you're not. That's the only difference.
I'm gonna hit Lesley up and have her help me pick a show.
Because I'll have you give you that mental edge over these guys. Because this is the other thing. Instead of looking for a steroid, people need to work on this. That is how you can get yourself to the next level. Because genetically speaking, if you are on stage with someone who is genetically stronger, they may not get. Chances are, how many bodybuilders do you know at the pro level that are working with a mental game coach? How many?
I haven't heard of any.
I think there's a couple, but it's not.
Well, I haven't heard of any though. I'm not saying there's not any, but I just like nobody talks about it, saying like, oh yeah, this was the game changer, was like working with a mental coach.
Because when you think about bodybuilding, is it more physical or mental?
It's definitely a ratio of both, but I mean, the perseverance is mental to get through and to, you know, just to get under. You know, each workout is mental, like just getting
but
under.
Also, keep in mind when you're on stage, you're doing more than one round.
Yeah.
Like when you do those poses, like you're doing like multiple, especially in the higher competition, like the higher levels, you're going through your poses numerous times. So you can have the best, whatever, you know, your best back double by, let's say. Okay, what about the 5th or 6th or 7th time that you do that on stage? Endurance is mental. So endurance is physical, yes, but mental drives a lot of the stuff that we need in bodybuilding, especially on game day, on competition day.
And it all comes down just to preparation, mental and physical.
Huge preparation that virtually no bodybuilders do, which blows my mind because I've been shouting this from like for the past 3 years. Contact me, people. You have no idea how far it can take you.
Well, listen, Nick Walker is considered one of the most mentally strong competitors based on that. He doesn't miss a meal. He doesn't miss an anything for years.
He's a robot. I sponsored Nick also years ago, and he's a freaking robot. Like,
which is why he has the development that he does. However, when they put him through those rounds of posing, supposedly, now I don't know if this is true or not, but supposedly he lost it in the final round of posing when he got winded and let his stomach go. This is the story, anyways.
Well, I've seen Steve Weinberger do that before. I saw when I turned my first pro debut was Tampa, and Sergio Oliva and Alexi were going head to head. I think it was Alexi, and Steve just pushed them until one gave up because they were so close, and he just pushed them until Sergio just didn't hold his poses as long as Alexi anymore, and they gave it to him. Oh, it is Alexis. I think his name is Alexis. I forget his first name. But they do that. They'll push you until you break, until somebody breaks mentally. If you guys are close enough, which I think that Derek and Nick were close enough that it was like, you know, it was hard to pick one over the other, and they just pushed them round after round after round until one was clearly, you know, clearly holding better or looking better than the other.
But that's just an example of someone who's considered like one of the most mentally strong people in that regard. But still, there was still a chink in his armor.
We can always up the level. Phil Heath was also extremely mentally strong. But there was this, I don't know if it was a YouTuber that got to him. Like, it's everyone can, it's not about being perfect, but it's trying to see how strong can I be. So even the mentally strong still need to level up.
For sure.
Yeah, Louis Marco got to him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Lost his shit over Louis Marco. Talking about
yeah.
And that possibly was why he lost the last his 8th Olympia. Because all that year Louis Marco was just blowing him up.
Right.
And he was reacting to it.
Yeah.
He should have ignored that guy, but he was reacting to it the whole time.
I don't know if that changed anything because Phil was in shape, but it was literally like Louis Marco wasn't wrong. It was a gut thing, and I don't think the gut would have stayed in. I don't know.
Maybe, but he drew more attention to it by Louis Marco brought it up, but by Phil engaging through that year with him, he brought more attention to it to himself.
Yeah, he shouldn't have done that. That's true. Absolutely.
He should have just ignored that guy.
Yeah.
And it's easy for us to sit here and do that. But when you've got that pressure, and that's why I'm saying it's good to have another person.
Listen, I was not personally in it, but I wanted to kill Louis Marco for Phil. I hated him. If I saw him in person, I think I would have beat his ass for what he was doing because I just did not like it. You know, like, and Bonac literally slapped him, I think, and told him at FIBO to keep my name out of your mouth. And then Louis Marco exited bodybuilding right after that.
Yeah.
But I was angry with Louis Marco because like I was a Phil Heath fan, and it's like, dude, shut up.
Yeah. Did you have any other topics you wanted to touch on, Lesley?
I'm sure you know about visualization. So when it comes to losing, visualize your comeback.
Okay.
Okay. It's not just I'm like literally. So we talk about visualizing your poses. Visualize your comeback. So this also helps for training breakthroughs. Okay. So before a big lift, just close your eyes for like 30 seconds. Visualize yourself executing with perfect form, muscles fuller and stronger than ever before. You're visualizing this. Forget what the mirror says. You're visualizing this. Why it works? Because bodybuilders live in the grind.
Yeah.
And this primes the nervous system to expect growth. So it's amazing. The body-mind connection is so it's not truly fully used. We have that mind-body connection when it comes to exercises, but the visualization to help boost that extra that we don't think that we have, we do have it.
Yeah.
If I say to you, you know what? You don't get another rep, you're going to come in second. Like, guess what? You're going to get that rep in.
Yeah. I think definitely that's maybe one of my stronger things that I do is I do a lot of visualization. I actually learned it in high school. I was a Olympic powerlifter, and there was a lot of form and doing stuff. And I ended up breaking a lot of state records. And before I would compete, I would just like over and over again, I would visualize walking out on the platform. I would visualize how it would feel, how much weight was on it, how I would start the lift. You know, I kind of like would do and I even visualized like winning, you know, getting crown, you know,
yep.
Like every kind of like aspect of it where like it was like a entire dream that was just like over and over again. I would like run it through, and I still do that now. Like you're saying, like if I have like a I'm like going to do legs, and I'll like visualize like, okay, this week I'm going to do 10 reps on this hack squat, and it's like a lifetime personal record. Like I've never done it before. And I just like, I like hyper fixate on it, on like the moment, every rep, and like how it's going to like hurt and feel, and what my thoughts are going to be during each rep and stuff like that. So I think that's one thing that I personally do myself. Leo, do you do like a lot of visualization stuff when you're competing or when you're preparation?
Doesn't work.
Doesn't work for you?
I haven't won a pro show. Didn't work. But
yeah, but have you like
I tried
surpassed
to,
your
I
own
tried to.
surpassed your own
I don't think I've ever done it for a lift, really. Maybe not that consciously. I'll try it next time I squat.
Do you do a lot? Do you like push your limits like on personal records? Like, are you like, I'm like neurotic about like.
No, I don't, because I think it's just utterly. I mean, personal records. If you talk about a weight for a certain amount of reps, yes, but not one PR stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't try to single. I do like
one rep max stuff.
Yeah, I do like PRs in like a 10 rep or something, or like
yeah, okay, yeah.
A new personal record on like
yeah. There I do that.
So Tom Platz had this thing he taught me when I was real young. He said, pick a number, any number, and just focus on that number as long as you can. And every time your mind drifts, try to get back to that number. And so you're not thinking about other things. And one thing I'll do, like preparing for like a really heavy lift or a heavy set, while I'm getting ready, I'm mentally rehearsing the entire set. So by the time I actually start the set, I've actually done it. Mm-hmm. It's like I've already done it in my head. Yeah. I've done this many reps, and with this drop set, and I've already done the whole thing. And now I'm just executing it.
Yeah. I'm
not even thinking about like if it's going to happen. I've already done the set is done. And I just go and do it. I'm not thinking in the middle of the set. I'm not thinking about it's heavy. Can I do it? My mind is already a done deal. Mm-hmm. And then I just go and do it. But it's something that I know that I can do because I've done it before. Or even if it's a PR, I'll tell myself I'm going to do this. And I've always done that. Like I don't have to get psyched up for a workout because I already know walking in the gym exactly what I'm going to do. I know what exercises I'm going to do, how many reps, how many sets, pretty much, and I follow that for that day. I'm not like making it up as I go along. It's already planned out. So I don't really think about training while I'm training. It's like this is the plan for the day, and I just do it. I guess it's like eating food. It's like if you're going to eat, you got to eat food at this time. You just eat it. Eat the food. Mm. And that's something I've pretty much always done since I was young.
I always direction. Go ahead.
Oh, I always try to like surpass my own expectations of myself when I'm lifting. Like I'll go in there and I have like an idea of what I can do or what I've done before, but I always want to like impress myself by beating what I did before.
Well, my standard is like way out there.
Okay.
I'm not going in there going, I'm going to do this like monkey ass bullshit set.
Yeah.
My standard is freaking high.
Yeah.
You've seen me train.
Yeah. I have. Do you have any other
more strategies though for you, Luke, if you want?
Yeah, let's hear it.
One is don't isolate yourself after a loss. Elite athletes always debrief. So doesn't mean you can't have alone time. Usually within a week. Do a review session with your coach or if you've coached yourself, then a trusted peer.
Mm.
Keep it data driven. Photos, judges' feedback, logbook numbers.
Not just anecdotal.
Yeah, and no emotional over-analysis. I'm sure we all get in our heads. That goes out the window. That's not going to help you. Emotions do not help you. Facts help you. Why it works, it prevents the distorted thinking, like, I'll never be good enough. How many times have we ever had that thought come to our head? I'll never be good enough. I'll never be as good as these other guys on the show. What we're focusing on is the future versus right now. Being in the present is a very key technique that a lot of people don't realize how valuable it is. Other sports that I help athletes with, they're on the scoreboard. They're constantly looking at the scoreboard. I'm like, no, don't look at the scoreboard. What's your job right now? We talk about process goals with them.
They're looking at the finish line, and you want them to look at each individual step.
What can you do right now? What's your job right now? Forget what's happened before, what just happened, if you made a mistake, or what you think could happen, or what you want to happen. Focus on now. That's what you have control over. It's controlling the controllables, but knowing what those controllables are and what you're going to do about it at any given moment. The other, after the piece about the loss, is creating a comeback narrative. Okay? So own the loss as part of your story. We all just want to win. We don't want to have losses. But in order to have success, when we're talking about longevity, loss is part of success. Mm-hmm. You're not going to have success after success after success and never have a loss. You name a single GOAT, the greatest of all time, no matter what the sport, there's going to be a loss somewhere in there. Mm-hmm. Make the loss part of the narrative because it's going to make the comeback that much sweeter. Write a short next chapter statement, like 2025 off season, build rounder delts, 5 pounds leaner tissue, sharper posing. This is my setup year. Becomes almost a mantra. Stick it on your fridge or your logbook so you can visualize, like you had that 4th place trophy. Mm-hmm. Use this strategy as your little 4th place trophy. Why it works? Because you give your mind a mission. This is part of regaining control over your mind instead of your mind taking control of you. You give your mind a mission, a very specific mission, versus holding on to a memory of just losing. Because that can take you down a really bad rabbit hole.
Yeah, fixating on losing.
So the idea is we take post-show disappointment, and I'm not saying don't be disappointed, that's normal. But when we change it into a structured comeback plan. When you're able to do that, I'm just telling you, losing is not going to be as bad because you're going to see as part of the process, you're going to have a plan on how to deal with it, and you're going to steadily work on it. It's not I'll work on my mindset, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks before the show. That's not going to work. Like saying I'm going to start practicing my posing 2 weeks before the show. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah.
All
right. Lesley's information to contact her is in the description. I put her Instagram and her website, so you can get her there. Anybody who wants to contact her. And I suggest people planning to compete, she'd be a good resource. We do want to do a little bit of Q&A before we wrap up here because people are asking questions, and I totally answer some of these questions. So if you have any
before we get too far, I want to say, thank you for coming on. This has been this mental stuff, you really don't talk about it in bodybuilding much. And definitely some of these things you mentioned are very powerful, I believe.
Oh, well, thank you. And thank you for having me on. I appreciate you guys.
We're not done yet.
No, I don't think we're done. I just wanted to say appreciate her. I just want to say appreciate her taking the time to outline these things. But
well, actually, when I thought about all these things, putting together this particular thing, it's been something that was going through my head because I've been working with different competitors this year, and just watching scenarios play out. And I wanted to do this podcast, and I immediately thought about Lesley, because I'm like, she's the expert on this. You know, I have my in the trenches knowledge and opinions, but she's the actual expert on this mental game. So she's the one that I would go to if I needed coaching for that. If I was competing, I would be doing it.
I appreciate that.
So let's get to a few questions real quick. Let's see. Let me go back here. Dr. Todd, I'm not a fan. I'm just going to say that. I disagree with him on too many things. I think he makes up stuff. Somebody wanted to ask a supplement question. Yeah, go ahead and ask it. Leo would use Milos off-season, the insulin giant set protocol. I think you can answer that for yourself.
I said probably not, because I'm afraid for my midsection. I'm not going to do insulin.
You never have done it, Leo, or you never plan to?
I did it for like 5 trainings or so, or maybe 8. But I was off everything there. So.
Oh, okay.
I've done the insulin protocol, but I don't do the giant sets because I'm just not a fan of the giant sets. Ask me, what do you think the best magnesium supplement on the market? Oh, that's easy. I started using a powder magnesium glycinate, and that really made a big difference in my back was super tight before I started using that. And I take it at night with my bedtime supplements. It's just a powder form of magnesium glycinate. I don't care what brand you get. It doesn't matter. As long as it's the glycinate, and it works. I take it every night, and it relaxes your muscles, and you know, especially after a hard training, sometimes you're like stiff or sore and it's hard to sleep, and it definitely helps. Which one do I use exactly? Shit, I don't remember. I just buy it off of allstarsupplements.com because it's cheap. But it as long as it's glycinate, it doesn't matter what brand. Trained by JP has magnesium bisglycinate. Capsules. Do you know better magnesium? Like I said, in my research that I've done, glycinate is supposed to be the best. I'm not sure what bisglycinate. That sounds like it's glycinate. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I think it's the same thing. So, in my opinion, when it comes to those sort of things, as long as it's real, whatever one's cheaper. As long as it's real, you know, a reputable company. That's all that matters. Some supplements, you know, if it's put out by a certain brand or manufacturer, it's the same crap, and you're going to pay 5 times more money. So if you can trust the brand, then I think it's fine. I like to use Now Nutrition stuff because it's a pretty reputable company. But yeah, that's all that matters on that one. What other Q&A questions do we have here?
I don't think we had too many this week.
I think that's it, man.
Did we have any on the? I guess not on the previous podcast episodes.
No, we did not.
Maybe we should start posting on the on our Instagrams.
Yeah,
to drop Q&As if we want to start doing some more Q&As.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up there then. Again, Lesley, thank you very much for coming on. It was great.
Thank you.
And hopefully some people learn from this and they reach out to you.
And thank you for having me on, guys. I really appreciate it.
Even though it's in the description, just say it so people know where to contact you.
Probably the best place is my Instagram, and just send me a DM. So my Instagram is Lesley, LESLEYT_mental_iron.
Right on.
All right. That's a wrap.
Thanks a lot, Lesley. See you guys.
Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it.
I believe that the fires were cast upon, on the flames we shall become. I believe in a common cause.